Jason Richardson was a walking highlight reel, being a high flyer throwing down crazy dunks on the regular, even winning 2 slam dunk contests. Yet these often overshadow how good of a player he was on the court, as Jason Richardson can score from a variety of ways, from attacking the rim with his athleticism and speed or shooting threes, helping him become a consistent 20-point per game scorer and the franchise player for the Golden State Warriors, who would help end a 12-year playoff drought, being a part of the We Believe Warriors, who upset the 1-seeded Dallas Mavericks round 1. Before going on to be a journeyman, starting for numerous teams, including stints with the Charlotte Bobcats, where he led the league in three-pointers made and attempted, before joining the Phoenix Suns, which was also a notable stint, as he helped them reach the Western Conference Finals with multiple big performances throughout. Jason Richardson ended up bouncing around some more before his career ended early, as knee injuries forced him to retire. When Jason Richardson was healthy, he was one of the most exciting players to watch in the entire NBA. This is a look back on Jason Richardson's career. Jason Richardson was born and raised in Saginaw, Michigan, growing up and play at Arthur Hill High School, where Richardson broke out his junior year before leading Arthur Hill to the Class A championship game his senior year. Jason Richardson even shut down the gym once in a basketball game on an alley-oop in a rivalry game, dominating the competition along the way to becoming the Recruiting Services Consensus Index 14th ranked player in the entire country, earning Mr. Basketball in the state of Michigan and a McDonald's All-American, even though Richardson wasn't allowed to play in the game because of a ridiculous rule that didn't allow Michigan kids to play in high school basketball televised games if they were still in season, as his team was in the state championship. Jason Richardson at this time had a lot of schools after him for his elite athleticism, and he would decide to remain close to home, attending Michigan State to play for Tom Izzo. Jason Richardson was joining a Michigan State team coming off a Final Four run headed by future NBA talent in Morris Peterson, Charlie Bell, and Mateen Cleaves. Richardson's role his freshman year as a result was to come off the bench as a role player, as he went on to average 5.1 points, 4.1 rebounds, shooting 54.6% from the floor, helping Michigan State put together a strong season, going 32-7, winning the Big Ten regular season and tournament championship to enter the NCAA tournament as a 1-seed, where Michigan State steamrolled the competition the first 3 games, winning over Valparaiso, Utah, and Syracuse, making it into the Elite Eight to face Iowa State, headed by one of the top prospects in the draft up and coming in Marcus Fizer and Jamal Tinsley. The game was a close one until Michigan State pulled away late down the stretch thanks to Morris Peterson, making it into the Final Four, where Michigan State would thwart Wisconsin's Cinderella run, making it into the title game to face the Florida Gators, who were headed by Mike Miller, Udonis Haslem, and Donnell Harvey. Michigan State continued its phenomenal postseason with a big performance from Morris Peterson, Charlie Bell, and AJ Granger, propelling Michigan State to becoming the NCAA champion. Richardson came off the bench as per usual this game to provide 9 points to the team. Jason Richardson played his part, taking on a smaller role so the team could thrive, becoming champions. After the year, Morris Peterson and Mateen Cleaves moved on, creating a role for Jason Richardson to step into the starting lineup. Michigan State also retooled in the offseason, adding Zach Randolph to help the team remain a championship competitor. Jason Richardson went on to lead the Spartans this season, averaging 14.7 points, 5.9 rebounds, and shooting 54.4% from the field, while also shooting 40.2 from 3, leading the Michigan State Spartans to a 28-5 record, becoming Big Ten regular season champs. And Richardson, for his efforts, was named first team All-Big Ten and second team All-American. Michigan State entered the NCAA tournament as the number 1 seed, where again they cruised the first 3 rounds, winning over Alabama State, Fresno State, and Gonzaga. In the Elite Eight, the Spartans faced Temple, who were hot on a Cinderella run, led by Lynn Greer. Temple hanged around in the game after a good showing from Greer, yet Michigan State would win the game behind an unlikely hero in David Thomas, who was averaging 2.4 points per game that year, but proceeded to score 19 points, pushing Michigan State into the Final Four, where they would get a matchup against the Arizona Wildcats, headed by Gilbert Arenas and Richard Jefferson. Over the game, Michigan State seemed to be outmatched, losing 80-61, with Arizona winning in large parts due to Richard Jefferson holding Jason Richardson to 6 points on 2 of 11 shooting. After the season, the NBA came a-calling, with teams desiring his athleticism and ability to score the ball attacking the rim and shooting it from distance, making Richardson a top draft prospect. And in the 2001 NBA draft, with the 5th overall pick, the Golden State Warriors selected Jason Richardson. Richardson was joining a struggling Warriors team with fellow rookie Gilbert Arenas that was being led by Anton Jamison. Jason Richardson became the Warriors' starting shooting guard very early into the season, where he went on to average 14.4 points, 3 assists, and 4.3 rebounds, making it into the Rising Stars game for the All-Star Weekend, where Richardson put on a show, scoring 26 points, pushing his team to victory, winning the MVP. And the show didn't stop there All-Star Weekend for Jason Richardson, as he would go on to compete in the slam dunk contest, where he would add to his hardware, winning the dunk contest after contorting and spinning through the air. Richardson put his name on the map after a strong All-Star Weekend and played well the rest of the season to finish the year making All-Rookie First Team. Yet the Warriors, despite Richardson's NBA readiness, went 21-61, missing the playoffs. With being bad means high picks, as the Warriors added Mike Dunleavy and Troy Murphy to give the team a boost. Jason Richardson again put together another solid season for the Golden State Warriors, averaging 15.6 points, 3 assists, and 4.6 rebounds, complementing Jamison nicely. Richardson also returned to the All-Star Weekend again, producing an iconic moment in the Rising Stars game, being him bouncing the ball off of Carlos Boozer's forehead and then making a three-pointer before the clock ran out. Jason Richardson was also back to compete in the slam dunk contest, again to defend his crown, where Jason Richardson one-upped himself from the prior year, putting together one of the better slam dunk contest performances in history, winning it back-to-back. The Warriors, meanwhile, were making steady improvements in the right direction, going 38-44. When things seemed to be moving in the right direction, they took a turn for the worse in the offseason, as Gilbert Arenas left in free agency, joining the Wizards. And after losing one of their stars, the Warriors decided to trade another away in Anton Jamison, resetting the rebuild for the Golden State Warriors all over again. Jason Richardson was now the franchise player for the team as they looked to retool around him. Richardson became the team's leading scorer with 18.7 points to go along with 2.9 assists and 6.7 rebounds. He would also return again for the slam dunk contest this season, but would fail to win his third in a row as Fred Jones defeated him. The Warriors maintained a similar form from the prior year behind Richardson, going 37-45, missing the playoffs. As next season came around, the Warriors found themselves in the same spot, so they decided to shake things up, trading for Baron Davis mid-year to help out Richardson. Jason Richardson this season improved himself again to average 21.7 points, 3.9 assists, and 5.9 rebounds. But again, the Warriors still struggled as Davis missed time with injury, resulting in the team going 34-48, missing the playoffs. In the offseason, the Warriors found a steal in the draft, selecting Monte Ellis in round 2. Jason Richardson continued to be the guy in Golden State, averaging 23.2 points, 3.1 assists, and 5.8 rebounds. However, in an all-too-similar tale to last season, Davis missed time with injury, causing the Warriors to falter, going 34-48, missing the playoffs. At the end of the year, as the team's captain, Jason Richardson sent out an apology letter to the fan base of the Golden State Warriors, as they had missed the playoffs for the 12th year in a row, with Richardson vowing to get the team back into them. Next year, the Warriors seemed slightly better, but not quite a playoff caliber team, when an opportunity arose. The Warriors would trade away Mike Dunleavy and Troy Murphy to the Indiana Pacers for Steven Jackson and Al Harrington, as the Pacers were looking to offload Jackson after a nightclub shootout. Richardson took on a smaller role after to average 16 points, 5.1 rebounds, and 3.4 assists, with his numbers also dipping some as he was dealing with injuries, only suiting up for 51 games. Jason Richardson, on the bright side, would finally be guiding the Warriors into the NBA playoffs as the team went 42-40, getting in as the 8th seed, meeting the 1-seeded Dallas Mavericks round 1 with the MVP of the league in Dirk Nowitzki, Josh Howard, and Jason Terry. The Warriors would steal Game 1 of the series as Baron Davis led the way. Game 2, the Mavericks bounced back, looking like they were supposed to. Yet as the series shifted back to California, the Warriors thrived at home, winning the next 2 games, going up 3-1 as Jason Richardson led the way in Game 3, scoring 30 points, setting the tone that carried the team over into the Game 4 victory. The series shifted back in Dallas, where the Mavs won as Dirk looked like his normal self compared to struggling like he did most of the series, as he was going up against his former coach in Don Nelson, who knew all of his moves. Game 6 was back in Oakland, and the Warriors thrived at home again, riding Steven Jackson's hot hand this time to a blowout victory, upsetting the 1-seeded Dallas Mavericks round 1, with the Warriors team going down in history as the We Believe Warriors. Round 2, the Warriors met the Utah Jazz, headed by Deron Williams, Carlos Boozer, Andre Kirilenko, and Mehmet Okur. This time the Warriors couldn't steal a game on the road to start the series, finding themselves in a 2-0 hole. At home, the Warriors would win Game 3 in a blowout, truly showing how strong their home court advantage was, but that home court advantage wasn't enough in Game 4 as the Jazz won behind a big game from Boozer, effectively ending the series as it went back to Utah as the Jazz won 4-1. Though it was not a deep playoff run, it was a memorable one for the fan base that was starved for postseason basketball and won a series no one thought they could. Jason Richardson was a huge part in the We Believe Warriors' success, averaging 19.1 points, 6.7 rebounds, and 2 assists over the postseason. Little did Richardson know his time with the Warriors had come to an end. In the offseason, the Warriors would trade away Jason Richardson to the Charlotte Bobcats with Jamario Davidson for the 8th overall pick in the draft that became Brandon Wright, as the Warriors hoped Wright was the team's future center and Monte Ellis was going to take over Richardson's role. Richardson was joining a Charlotte Bobcat team that was led by Gerald Wallace, Raymond Felton, and Emeka Okafor. Jason Richardson's role was to be the team's starting shooting guard and small forward and be the go-to option on offense, leading the Bobcats in scoring with 21.8 points to go along with 3.1 assists and 5.4 rebounds. And he also led the NBA in three-pointers made with 243 and attempted in 599. Richardson was back on a struggling team, however, as the Bobcats went 32-50, missing the playoffs. Early into next season, the Bobcats were in the same position, so they decided to mix things up, trading away Jason Richardson. Jason Richardson was traded by the Charlotte Bobcats with Jared Dudley and a future pick that became Yanni Lal to the Phoenix Suns for Raja Bell, Boris Diaw, and Sean Singletary. The Suns had wanted Jason Richardson to bolster the playoff push that was being led by Steve Nash, Amari Stoudemire, and Shaquille O'Neal. Jason Richardson came into the Suns to be the team's starting shooting guard and a complementary weapon offensively, averaging 16.8 points, 2 assists, and 4.4 rebounds. The Suns looked like a playoff caliber team with Richardson. However, they dropped much needed games in the West as Amari Stoudemire got injured, seeing the Suns go 46-36, missing the playoffs. In the offseason, the Suns traded away an aging Shaq, but Stoudemire returning healthy next season, the Suns were back in the playoff hunt. Jason Richardson, still playing the third option on the team, averaged 15.7 points, 5.1 rebounds, and 1.8 assists as he helped Phoenix Suns go 54-28, making the playoffs as a 3 seed, meeting the Portland Trail Blazers round 1 with LaMarcus Aldridge and Andre Miller. The Suns dropped Game 1 of the series before waking up, winning the next 2 games as Jason Richardson led the team with 29 points in Game 2 and had a monster Game 3 scoring 42. The Blazers would pull the next one back, tying the series up as Aldridge outplayed Stoudemire before the Suns went on to close out the series, winning the next 2 games as Jason Richardson scored 28 points in Game 6, sending the Phoenix Suns into round 2 to face the San Antonio Spurs with its trio of Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, and Tony Parker, where the Suns would handle the Spurs, sweeping them out of the playoffs as they would consistently get out in the break and play fast, countering San Antonio's style of play. The Phoenix Suns in the Western Conference Finals met the Los Angeles Lakers with its dynamic duo of Kobe Bryant and Pau Gasol. The Lakers jumped out, winning the first 2 games in LA before the series shifted back to Phoenix, where the Suns tied the series back up as Stoudemire proved to be a struggle to stop. Game 5 was a close one late as the Suns were rallying from down 18, but the Lakers held the lead late by 3 with 20 seconds remaining as they stole the ball and the Suns came down the floor, proceeding to miss several 3-point shots to tie the game up before Jason Richardson came through, banking in a 3 with 3.5 seconds left, which still was enough time for the Lakers to win it. The Suns played great defense on the initial look, forcing Kobe to airball. However, Jason Richardson did not block out Ron Artest, who crashed the boards hard, hitting the game winner. Game 6 started off close before a big second and third quarter by LA became insurmountable, sending the Phoenix Suns home. Jason Richardson was a large part of the Suns' playoff run to the Western Conference Finals, averaging 19.8 points and 5.4 rebounds. In the offseason, Amari Stoudemire left in free agency, causing the Phoenix Suns to sputter to start next season, resulting in the Suns trading away Jason Richardson. Jason Richardson was traded by the Phoenix Suns with Hedo Turkoglu and Earl Clark to the Orlando Magic for Vince Carter, Marcin Gortat, Mikhail Pietrus, and a future pick that became Nikola Mirotic. Richardson was now on a Magic team headed by Dwight Howard and Jameer Nelson, where he would take on a smaller complementary role in the offense, still starting, averaging 15.6 points, 4.1 rebounds, and 1.8 assists between Phoenix and Orlando, helping the Magic go 52-30, making the playoffs as a 4 seed. facing the Atlanta Hawks round 1 with Jamal Crawford, Joe Johnson, Josh Smith, and Al Horford. The Hawks would take Game 1 before the Magic responded, winning Game 2 late on a Jason Richardson 3. Game 3 was a close one late as the Hawks led before the game shifted after a scuffle broke out and a hard foul on Howard from Zaza Pachulia sparked an argument as well as a pushing and shoving match from Jason Richardson and Pachulia, with Richardson and Pachulia getting ejected. And the Hawks went on to win the game after from a wild 3 from Jamal Crawford. Game 4, Pachulia and Richardson were suspended, hurting Orlando more so, where Atlanta went on to win the game late as Turkoglu missed the game-tying shot at the horn. Game 5, Richardson was back, so the Magic blew out the Atlanta Hawks, forcing a Game 6 back in Atlanta. The Hawks led off to an early lead before the Magic rallied behind Dwight Howard, trailing by 3 points late into the game as they had the ball. The Magic got the look they wanted on the final possession as JJ Redick was wide open for 3, but he missed the shot, seeing the Magic sent home 4-2. Jason Richardson over the series played solidly, averaging 10 points and 4 rebounds, but really hurt his team when it mattered most, getting ejected and suspended. Next season, Jason Richardson played a similar role, averaging 11.6 points, 3.6 rebounds, and 2 assists for the Magic, as they were playoff bound again after a breakout year from Ryan Anderson, helping the team go 37-29, despite all the team drama surrounding them, as the team was consistently wondering if Dwight Howard wanted to stay in Orlando or be traded, where they'd be meeting the Indiana Pacers round 1 of the playoffs, headed by Danny Granger, David West, Roy Hibbert, and a young Paul George, where the Pacers proceeded to take down the Magic easily in 5 games as Dwight Howard was out with an injury. Jason Richardson over the series averaged 11.4 points and 3.8 rebounds. In the offseason, things finally came to a boiling point with Howard as the Magic traded him away in a blockbuster deal, with Jason Richardson being thrown in to balance the massive deal out being sent to the Philadelphia 76ers. Richardson was joining a 76ers team that was headed by Drew Holiday, Thaddeus Young, and Evan Turner, and the key piece for them in the Howard trade was Andrew Bynum, even though he would never proceed to suit up for the team as injuries were causing him to sit out. Jason Richardson started the season out for the 76ers, the team's starting shooting guard, averaging 10.5 points, 3.8 rebounds in 33 games, as he would pick up an injury, needing surgery and ending his year, with the 76ers proceeding to go 34-48, missing the playoffs. Richardson's knee injury ended up being more serious than anticipating, suffering setbacks as he would miss the entire 13-14 season. And in a year where the Philadelphia 76ers started trusting the process, sending away the majority of its players for picks, as the 76ers went 19-63, missing the playoffs. Next season, Jason Richardson returned mid-year after being out for 764 days to play in 19 games, averaging 9.1 points, 2 assists, and 3.5 rebounds, seeing the 76ers finish at the bottom of the league going 18-64. In the offseason, Jason Richardson was a free agent and he would sign a contract joining the Atlanta Hawks. But a month after signing, Richardson again began to experience pain in his right knee, revealing bone spurs, causing Jason Richardson to decide to retire. Jason Richardson, over 13 years in the NBA, averaged 17.1 points, 5 rebounds, and 2.7 assists. In retirement, Richardson later went on to join the Big 3 League, where he still puts up highlight dunks on the occasion. Jason Richardson's NBA career will be remembered for being a high flyer, winning 2 slam dunk contests, often overshadowing how good of a player he was, as he could also stroke it from distance on top of his athleticism, helping Richardson become the Warriors' franchise player, where he would help the Warriors make it back to the playoffs for the first time in 12 years, with the team upsetting the Mavericks round 1, going down as the We Believe Warriors. Afterwards, Jason Richardson became a bit of a journeyman, playing and starting the shooting guard position on multiple teams, with highlights being leading the league in 3-pointers made in attempts with the Bobcats, and his postseason run with the Phoenix Suns as they went to the Western Conference Finals, as Richardson put up big performances throughout the run, before Jason Richardson ended his career early as a knee injury caused him to retire. But when Jason Richardson was healthy, he was a walking highlight reel. Thanks for watching this video on Jason Richardson's career. If you want to see any other videos about any other random players, leave them in the comments below and I may or may not decide to do them. Who knows? Thanks again for watching. This has been Skid Denver.